Good evening and welcome to the Sound Gallery sessions. We are live again from the David Lee Sound Gallery here at Monash University. My name's Lauren Taylor. I'm one of the producers here at M Live. Before we get started this evening, I would like to acknowledge the people of the Kulin Nation on whose lands we're streaming from today so that we can continue their traditions of storytelling through our live performance. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Performing for you tonight in the David Lee Sound Gallery, we have two of Australia's most exciting young artists, Allara and Brent Watkins of Culture Evolves. Allara is a Yorta Yorta musician, composer, filmmaker, and is also involved in the climate justice movement. Using a double bass and loop station, Allara draws on ancient oral traditions and storytelling and harnesses hard-hitting spoken word to take the listener on a journey reflecting cultural, spiritual and environmental empowerment. Brent Watkins is a Gunai Kurnai man from southeastern Victoria and Noongar Yamanji ancestry from WA. Through his dance and didgeridoo playing, Brent tells the story of Indigenous life and conveys the struggles that First Nations people are experiencing in Australia today. Tonight, Allara and Brent will bring their solo styles together for a unique collaboration, unfurling a journey of culture, protection of country, and honouring of spirit. I should also take this opportunity to mention that there's going to be a Q&A following tonight's performance. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to get involved, you can simply type your questions for Allara and Brent in the comments section, wherever you're streaming us from tonight via YouTube or Facebook, and we'll get to as many as we can following the performance. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage Allara and Culture Evolves.
Before we get started, I'd just like to pay respects to the traditional owners of the land which we gather today. I'd like to pay respects to both Wurundjeri and also Bunwurrung. And I'd like to extend that onto the children as they are the next ones to protect country, to fight for country, the next ones to practice law. And I also like to extend that out to my little boy Malu. I also like to extend this acknowledgement out to all Indigenous mob watching today and also all mob that are fighting for country, fighting for our kids and their kids and their kids. Because we need to think that way. We need to remember our actions right now is trickling down. Are we part of the solution or part of the problem? I also like to pay respects to Bunjil, the wedge-tailed eagle, the creator of this land, the law. The oldest law known to man. I also like to extend that onto all my mob, Gunai Kurnai, and also Yamanji Noongar, and also Allara's deadly mob, Yorta Yorta. I'll let Allara introduce herself.
Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I too would like to pay really deep respects and honour to the Wurundjeri and the Bunwurrung of the Kulin Nations, and just meditate on the fact that they were on these lands and still are on these lands, singing their song and practicing their culture, and they inspire me every day, and people like Brent inspire me every day. So I'd like to, again extend those respects to all of our mob out there watching, and to every single person walking on this beautiful continent, so-called Australia.
This first dance I'm going to be performing is the creation of the animals. Marloo, kangaroo, emu, and then Bunjil, the creator, the wedge-tailed eagle.
This next piece that we have to share is called Rekindled Systems. It's about my journey coming into myself, into my identity, learning about my culture and learning to stand up and fight to remember and practice our culture. So big love to the Yorta Yorta fam, and you might hear the word Dangala in this song, and that means Murray River or big water in Yorta Yorta language. So this song is about our history and about our future. Strong connections with these ancient lands, descending bloodlines for centuries, mussels, fish, birds, berries, yams. Our people used to feast, cooking in old ovens under great trees, who've watched our life cycles custodial in style on the Dangala riverbanks, crystal clear, clean, free from carp, that muddy bastard. He was never invited. Surveyors marking acres and acres, missionaries and Jesus with religious takeover, crown sort of saying, this land is free for the taking, so take it. But first, he needs his irrigation systems and the mass scare of the blacks here, assimilation schemes devised to divide and dismantle our song line while our forefathers died on frontier lines. We are survivors. to our ancestors, reviving our song lines with fingers in the dirt. We are survivors, thanks to our ancestors, reviving our song lines with fingers in the dirt. To decipher tribal incantation from files taken to record a dying race within an archive of 1,000 last kings and natives' true trepidation. All the while, I wear my soul on my sleeves. Peace. When they wonder about my colour, tell them, listen with your ears. It's under my skin, and listen with your hearts. I'm not here on a whim. It's flowing through my arteries, from my crown to my feet, in connection with country. I'm seeing faces in the leaves of the trees, from the scars on my soul to the hope on repeat, from my toes in the mud to the tears my eyes weep. We are survivors, thanks to our ancestors, reviving our song lines with fingers in the dirt. We are survivors, we are our ancestors, we're dancing our song lines with spiritual self-worth. Mother Earth we stand. She always was, always will be Aboriginal land, in the past, in the present, in the future. Let's put our heads down, enjoy some humour. Let's work hard to protect our mother. Let's work hard to share our cultures. Let's work hard to protect what's most important. Doma Nini Yelka's distant future. Ooh, that was fun. Isn't Brent Watkins, aka Culture Evolves, aka Brent Watkins, just the most amazing dancer? I love his dancing. Thank you.
Nah, thank you. You just make me channel, just take me, and it's what I needed during isolation. It's been hard, not being able to practice ceremony, not being able to catch up with people, with uncle. So yeah, being here right now, sister, is just so soul-filling. But yeah, I guess that's what's been the most hardest thing about isolation, Lucky enough, I live right next to parkland, so I've continued to practice culture, having smoking ceremonies, going out doing art, and dance, but it's just not the same having that live element music there. You know, that's when it's ceremony. But yeah, thank you again, amazing sister.
Thank you so much. No, it's so good, and we're feeling really lucky to be able to be here in this beautiful gallery here at Monash, and to be, you know, like doing this with this level of tech, and the team has been absolutely amazing. So we hope it's coming through on your end, and we can't wait to like have a little bit of a Q&A at the end. I'm going to do Murnong Farm now. Yeah? Yeah, I am. That is in the set list. So I just released this song a couple of weeks ago, and there's a big story behind it. There's a lot of big stories behind it. There's like thousands and thousands of years behind it. But yeah, I think something that I just wanted to mention about it today specifically is I've shared this song with a couple of people, and some people maybe they're not listening to the words properly, but this song is about a traditional food, the murnong, which is like the native yam daisy. And our mob used to eat it. There was all different kinds all across Victoria, and I'm sure like through New South Wales and other states as well. But it's a really nutritious and low GI, but like really high in antioxidants and all of that. And it's a really healthy food, and our mob used to eat it. The women used to go out and dig up the fields, and the fields, like, if you haven't read Dark Emu, I'd really highly encourage you to check that book out by Bruce Pascoe, and have a read and try and understand what our landscape looked like before colonisation, and it's just another example of why this continent became so appealing, is because we had beautiful parklands that we cared for and we looked after, and
that's one thing too. People don't realise actually the scale of farming which Aboriginal people did. When Western people come over here, they'll, like in the first records, it said like the murnong was until the eye can see. So that's how big the farm was. They couldn't comprehend how big it was. They couldn't comprehend that was a farm. They just thought it was all, wild bushland, but it was managed from season to season. They would travel, and, that's amazing what Allara's doing and sharing that information.
And yeah, if you like gardening, you should come around to my place and check out my backyard. And yeah, it's good. It's a fun song. I hope you sing along to it at home. Yeah, it's good. Okay, here we go. This is Murnong Farm. Murnong, yam daisy, yam tuber, nutty, nutritious, delicious. Grandmother, mother, children. Uncle Bruce, lies, confusion. Anger, elders, truth. Murnong, confusion. Yam daisy, truth. Yam, lesson, tuber. Archives, nutty, answers, nutritious. Agriculture, delicious. Culture. Grandmother, mother, children. Black traditions. Uncle Bruce. Ecosystems. Lies, confusion. Regeneration. Anger, conservation. Elders, truth. Love, confusion. Yam daisy, ash, truth. Yam, dirt, lesson. Tuber. Aunties, archives, mothers, answers. Grannies. Agriculture. Children. Culture. Grandmother, mother, children. Black traditions. Uncle Bruce. Ecosystems. Lies, confusion. Regeneration. Prejudice lifted. Prejudice lifted. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm Get your sheep off the soil that I aired with my hands for more than 2,000 generations. I am sovereign, I am free, unbound myself of Western mental shackles, machine-type mental slavery. But you see, I'm not free, not until I'm with my land. So I'm gonna start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston. Get your sheep off the soil that I tended with my hands for more than 2,000 generations. We made this country, these countries, this nation, these nations. These countries made us dreaming. So get your sheep off the soil that we tended with our hands for countless generations. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm. Yeah, in my rental in Preston. I actually already did. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm. I have 2 plants in my rental in Preston, but they're amazing. Get your sheep off the soil. Can I start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston? Can I kill the grass, turn the soil with my fingers, revitalize the old traditions? Can I start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston? Warmth of the aunties, flowers shine bright like the women who dig them, their flowers yellow, strong like the sun reflecting the power within them. And their men. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston. I'm gonna start a Murnong farm in my rental in Preston. Grandmother, mother, children, black traditions,
Uncle Bruce,
ecosystems,
lies, confusion,
regeneration, anger,
conservation,
elders, truth,
love,
confusion,
yam daisy,
ash, truth,
yam,
dirt,
lesson,
tuber,
aunties,
archives,
mothers,
mothers, answers,
nutritious,
grannies, agriculture,
children,
culture, grandmother, mother, children, black traditions,
Uncle Bruce,
ecosystems,
lies, confusion,
regeneration, anger,
conservation,
elders, truth,
love,
love, confusion,
yam daisy,
ash, truth,
yam,
dirt,
lesson,
tuber,
aunties,
archives,
mothers,
mothers, answers,
nutritious,
grannies, agriculture,
children,
culture, black traditions, prejudice lifted. I love that song. It's so fun for me to play. I hope you guys out there enjoyed it. Oh, you lovely people. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Wednesday night. I'm hoping that there's people online, you know, that we finish and that people have watched. Yeah. That'd be okay too. I mean, it's a pretty beautiful room.
Yeah, by the way, Lara doesn't know, but I got 15 Murnong seeds or more, but you're going to come plant them with me in the next month or so. Get my own Murnong crop.
Yay! We want to take over. We want everybody to plant Murnong seeds and all the native plants.
It's actually amazing. I'm just in Coburg, where there's actually Murnong growing wild. I asked some of the park rangers and they said, nah, nothing's being planted. So, you know, planting will grow like a weed, hopefully. But, you know, it's just growing wild in the parks, which is amazing. So, yeah, this next track we are going to do is Fire. I created this, you know, when all the wildfires were going on all around Australia. You know, sadly, my country, Gunai Kurnai, you know, just no words. It's, you know, the millions of animals and people that passed away, it's just saddening. And the most saddest thing about it, this all could have been prevented. Aboriginal elders have been warning that something like this would happen if we don't return traditional burning. So in our law, in Aboriginal law, we would burn off country at certain times of the year. There was never no wildfires here. And that's the thing why the government need to listen to Aboriginal people and listen to the law, because the law is of the land needs it. But yeah, it's saddening. This is all one problem where we need to fight the government, because Aboriginal law needs to be at the front. Like one elder said, the white man's law is changing from day to day, from year to year. Aboriginal law has been the same since creation. We are the oldest living, surviving culture in the world. And why is that? Look at our law. It has stayed the same. It is relevant now more than it ever has been. We need to bring these traditional practices back, not only for Aboriginal people, but for everyone, so we're all safe, so people don't die, so the properties, people's lives aren't in danger. And especially all the animals that have gone extinct, all the animals that are on the brink of extinction. If the government listened to Aboriginal people, this all could have been prevented. This track, was based around that, channeling all that frustration, and also, all the beautiful culture and beautiful law that Aboriginal people have had. Let's get it going.
Ready?
Deadly. I just want to give a shout out to Uncle Sean Ryan, one of my teachers, Guk Nyelanji. So he's taught me a few of those dances. So this track was also inspired through that, the Whistling Kite. So that was sampled all throughout the beat. He was the one that gave the law of fire to the people. Just big shout out to all Guk Nyelanji mob, Uncle Sean, and also all my teachers from Arundri and also Bunwadung. Big shout outs. Yep.
Yes, we love our elders. We love the people that teach us, and they're really important in this journey, especially as Aboriginal people. We walk in their footsteps very proudly, and we hope to one day be at any level that they walk at, as they've done such an amazing, such a legacy. And this next piece is about, I guess, the youth and where we're going with this climate catastrophe. It's especially for SEED, Indigenous Youth Climate Network, as I've done a lot of volunteering with them, and SEED is an organisation run by and for young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people to protect country and to empower each other and stop the impacts of climate change from the cause to the effect. And so I just want to give a big shout out to SEED and all you mob out there who have worked alongside SEED with SEED and done such amazing, deadly stuff. And this piece is for you, and this piece is for any young person wanting to stand up and make sure that we care for our country.
Remember with that, it's for the next generations. We are doing it now for our kids and for their kids, or else we're leaving them with nothing.
Yeah. Our mother, she is talking to us. Can you hear her? It is by no coincidence the global Indigenous sacrifice for the causes and are feeling the impacts first and worst. Cultures who understand time differently to the Western mind see as far back as we see forward. We honour our ancestors like we honour our great-great-grandchildren. Time is no 9 to 5. Time is a gift. Presence gives us the ability to receive, and inside time hides unconditional love and ultimate forgiveness. We go forward, she goes round and round. We go forward, she goes round and round. Our mother, she is talking to us. Can you hear her? She is crying, raging storms and floods strong enough to easily rip this city apart. Her guilt festers elsewhere, grinding teeth, jaw clenched, watching in disbelief, her eyes grow dry. She couldn't fill the barker, even if she cried a river of tears, because cotton, dairy and rice we go forward, she goes round and round. We go forward, she goes round and round. Our mother, she is talking to us. Can you hear her? Indigenous uprising on the front lines. Old white men quiver, squeaking childish threats, then silence. Deep down, they know we are right. They know they went too far, but trying to hold on to what's left of their power. Maybe it's childhood trauma, hate or spite, but they continue to light our mother on fire. They pour poison down her throat, create GMOs packed in pretty plastic wrap, pop it in a box, sell it nice and cheap to us mob in the shops. Our mother, she says to me, the balance is off. This will challenge you all to your core. It is time to abolish capitalism, greed, white supremacy, and war. Because I won't take this anymore. With L-O-R-E, I'm calling on the global Indigenous. Lead the revolution with qualities of love, compassion, empathy, and unwavering resilience. We go forward, she goes round and round. We go forward, she goes round and round. Our mother, she's talking to us. Can you hear her? Cultural change will solve a climate change. And though many of you will migrate and die, my skin, my veins, and my limbs will be all right. Then when I'm well again, I'll invite you back to your favorite places. But for now, rest your head and close your eyes. We go forward, she goes round and round. We go forward, she goes round and round. We go forward, she goes round and round.
It's too deadly.
You are.
No. So I really want to dance that track, but she wants me to play Didge.
I know. I'm working out. He gets a workout with me. Oh, cool.
Next time, try play Didge and dance it.
Everything all at the same time.
May as well.
Why not? All right, you're gonna take it away with the last piece.
Once again, big shout out to Malu, my little boy. Much love, my biggest inspiration. He's the one that inspired me to get to where I am today. The fact that, we need to do everything for their next generation, the same mindset of our elders before colonization, doing everything for them and then same ways for them. This next dance set I'm going to do, I just want to do big shout out to the West Papuan community as well. Free West Papua, Papua Merdeka. Usually, I started this set with brother boy Yoshi. So big shout out to all the West Papuan family. We're all in this struggle together as what's happening on this land and what's happening on your land. This set touches on a few things. First thing, deaths in custody. How are our people dying? It's just, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to dance it. The next thing is also suicide rates. How is Australia, Aboriginal people, only 3% of Australia, but we have some of the highest suicide rates in the world? What the is that? Like what is society putting on Aboriginal people for them to be killing themselves? We've got stripped of our identity, but we are still here strong. Our presence is, our presence walking today is a statement in itself, because in the policy said to kill us all off. That's what that's what they try to do. So yeah, but at the end of that, we survived, we are still here, we are still strong, and we're still practicing culture and fighting for country. So that's, sort of what this stance set talks about. And also a big shout out to my mob, Borung. I've made this dance up myself at the start. But yeah, hope you enjoy.
To come from the land owns us, because it's the ancient one, not us. We're the children who come and go. The children who come and go.
Big rules. Come on, sorry shit. Come on, sorry shit. Come on, sorry shit. Come on, sorry shit. Come on.
As a solution to the Aboriginal problem. Herd the worst of the Aborigines into one area, then put a chemical in their water that sent them sterile. In time, there'd be none of them left.
I would dope the water up so that they were sterile and would breed themselves out in peace, and that would solve the problem.
And they decided that they better go and civilise these savages of ours. So they brought them into the town, threw them in amongst the people.
All the things of the earth, and in the sky have energy to be exploited. Even themselves, mining their spirits into souls sold. Into nothing is sacred, not even their self.
Your ancestors are watching over you. Your ancestors' strength lays within. Your ancestors' law lives within. The law of your mother, the law of the earth. Now protect your mother as your mother has given you life. Protect the waterways. Protect the forest. Protect your culture. Protect your law. For the next generation to come, as we have been doing so since the dreaming, since the beginning of time.
Everywhere we walk upon in this world, one indigenous group or another has want to live there before for thousands and thousands of years. Learn the most intricate and respectful ways to inhabit that place. We need to remember that. You're on indigenous land, original clans. Since beginning of man, countless years out on this land. Living so grand, align to commands. Intrinsic align, never disband.
Wow, thank you. Time for a drink of water, eh? I hope you...
Wow, thank you so much to Allara and Brent for that incredibly powerful and moving performance. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us this evening in the Sound Gallery sessions. We're about to jump into Q&A. If you'd like to get involved, it's not too late. You can type in your questions in the comment section of wherever you're watching us from this evening in YouTube or Facebook, and we'll get to as many as we can. So much to talk about after that incredible performance. I'll let you catch your breath as well after that, Brent, too. You're right. Allara, I guess I wanted to start talking about a track that you performed towards the end of the set called Seed, which written sort of from the perspective of Mother Earth. Could you tell us a bit more about what that song means to you and what you'd like people to take away in terms of the message?
Yeah, you probably saw a little bit of a pause there. I was just like so caught up in like how amazing Brent was playing Dig and how it was representing it that I actually forgot a whole verse. But in the verse, I meant to say, it's time to abolish greed, white supremacy and war. And maybe I did say it, I don't know. Everything right now is like quite fast and I don't really know what's happening. But yeah, the message is strong that as Aboriginal, Indigenous people all around the world, we really need to be the leaders of the climate justice movement, because it's not just about carbon emissions, it's about our culture. And yeah, like Brent said before, our culture is the oldest, with the oldest law. And it's those laws, those traditions, our songlines that connect directly to country that kept this place well and kept us, caring for country and as healthy people with healthy spirit, healthy mind and healthy body and healthy earth. And so, yeah, I think Indigenous people and First Nations knowledge is really key to the climate justice and the climate space, and that, yeah, too often we're always asked last to be included in the conversation, especially when, it's our country that's being torn up, or, we belong to her. But, in Western way, we could maybe say that it's our country, but in our traditional way, it's, we're a part of her. And so if you're destroying a part of her, you're destroying a part of yourself. And that's why we need to care for our mother.
I guess this probably leads into my next question. A big part of your music, Allara, is about identity and about reconnecting and about education. And you've said that education is really the key. Can you maybe describe for us why that's been such an important focus of and drive of your life's work and your art?
Yeah, I mean, knowledge is really a lot. You can have nothing. You can have no material items, but if you have knowledge, you've got a lot. And especially when we're thinking about our identity, you know, if you don't connect to who you are, or your family, or your people, or the country, then what do you have to live for? And so it's our knowledge that gives us those beliefs and those connections, and makes us proud, and helps keep us walking in a direction for change, you know, positive change.
And Brent, you've, I guess, talked about the importance of teaching wisdom imparted from your ancestors and performing ceremony. Can you maybe reflect on the importance of preserving and maintaining a connection to country from your perspective?
For me personally, I guess my journey is a bit different. So I'm Gunai Kurna. I've grew up most of my life here in Melbourne. With strong connections to Yorta country. Just been up to Gunai Kurna country a few times, but I was lucky enough to get my auntie worked for Mornington Shire Council, so close relationship with Auntie Caroline Bunwadang, and then lucky enough to my first time doing traditional dance was actually with the Wurundjeri mob at Dreamtime at the G. So just lucky, I guess, to feel connected to the land where I am, and also have those elders around me. But without connection, I feel like you're nothing walking, you're an empty spirit. So if you cut a tree down and its roots are weak, it won't grow again. If that tree, its roots are strong, in the ground deep, you cut that down, it's going to grow back stronger. So that's the importance of culture, law, and connecting to earth. And, you know, science have also said that connecting to water and nature is good for the spirit, so...
Excellent. We need to get to some audience questions very soon as well. If you've got any, you can type them in the comments section wherever you're watching us from. I did want to ask, though, both Allara and Brent, you are both artists who are, you know, actively, I guess, committed to sharing, you know, how you feel through your music. And I guess with the current sort of spotlight on the Black Lives Matter movement and the recent protests around the country as well, I was wondering if you both would mind sharing some of your reflections and feelings on the events over the last couple of weeks. Maybe I'll start with you, Allara.
Yeah, I mean, this story of police brutality and the murder of Black people isn't a new story. That's something that has been in our lives since this very start of invasion, and that's something that's still happening to our mob to this day. So it wasn't a surprise to see that. What was a surprise to me was to see how quickly this specific murder of the brother George Floyd went incredibly viral, and I was, you know, I shouldn't be surprised, but every time I guess the mainstream Australia shows their ignorance, I'm just horribly disappointed at how ignorant this country is, and it's incredibly disappointing. So I guess the message that I want to say is, just because, you know, maybe you stepped up, maybe you went to the rally, maybe you posted a black square this one time, I just want to let you know that if that's the first time you've done anything, that's amazing, that's incredible, but don't let it be the last, because this fight is a long fight, and we've dedicated our lives to it, and our ancestors and our elders dedicated their lives to it. So, but we're only Indigenous people here in Australia are only 3% of the population. So if we do want real change, it's going to take everybody.
How about you, Brent? Does it feel like there's finally sort of some shift happening, or a bit of change in the air? Definitely
a shift, and personally I'm just trying to take advantage of it. I come from an education background. I started working at My Gallery, so that led to my performance from education. But yeah, exactly what Allara said. You know, we've dedicated our lives to this. This is every day. And amazing to people that, you know, for the first time showed up, but they need to show up at every single protest. Every time there's a death in custody, they need to be there. Anytime there's an injustice, they need to be there. Anytime mob are marching for mining, you know, to protect country, they need to be there. Because mother is us. We are mother. Take that away. Like I said before, we are empty. We are nothing. But yeah, I'm just hoping that it stays, you know, people keep the momentum going. because this is change that's needed to be happened. Like, I don't want to be dancing about suicide rates, about genocide, but I'd rather, like, so much positives about culture, which I'd rather be focusing on. But sadly, I have a child and I don't want him to grow up in this racist world. So I've got to do whatever I can so he doesn't, get to grow up in that world. But just everyone needs to keep turning up and also educate themselves. Education is the biggest key. And I believe there is a reason why Aboriginal education isn't permanently in schools. As long as Australia's asleep, don't know about Indigenous issues, they can wreck our land, they can do whatever they want to our people. Soon as people know about our culture, how old it is, how beautiful it is, then people will fight. So I believe that education is key to all of this. Long conversation.
It is.
It's a lot.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for sharing your thoughts. And we should get to some audience questions on the Sound Gallery sessions as we are running out of time. We've got one coming through that says, how do you balance modern life with your culture? What do you teach your son for him not to forget? I guess that's aimed at you, Brent.
Beautiful question. So the thing is, like, when I'm walking through like parklands, like pointing out birds, Wah, the crow being the healer, Bunjil being the creator, showing him, the gum leaves, getting to smell it, like recognising the river, but recognising it for its spiritual sense. Also walking, seeing rubbish, picking it up, like that's law right there, walking law. Like, looking after country. Me personally, I have littered, like, I won't lie, but it's about changing my mindset in which, I've done and, just, lead by example. That's all it is. But I guess it does get hard when you don't know culture and don't have the accessibility to it. So I'm very blessed to have that. But, there's always, just, going through the park, breathing, meditating on it, and just looking at everything. So I say acknowledgement to country is every day. When you're walking, you're acknowledging that tree, you're acknowledging that bird. So it's an everyday thing. And right there, you are living with culture, you're acknowledging the nature and everything around you. Hopefully that answers your question.
Beautiful. Have we got the next question coming through? We've got one coming through from Beth, who says she's watching with the 9-year-old twins tonight. That's great. So many great learnings for them. Beth says, thank you. The twins are fascinated by the layering in your music. Their question is, what pieces of equipment do you need to start looping? This is from Harry and Fraser, who are watching tonight.
This is so exciting. Best question. Young musicians, I love it. Well, you can start with any piece of equipment. I don't know if you guys have iPads or what, but if you even just have a Google of like looping apps, so you don't have to go out and spend like hundreds of dollars on equipment. You can look up looping apps on your iPhone or that, whatever. But I'm using a Boss RC300, which is, I guess, like one of Boss's top of the range loop pedals. I've got 3 tracks, and really nobody taught me how to do it. I just experimented, and I just used the tools that I had. So my tools, they're my double bass. I eventually got keys, but I never had keys when I started out. I love the delay, so I use a bit of delay and reverb. But yeah, and a mic. So even if you just, there's a Boss RC1, which is just like a one channel, 1-track loop station, and just, and you can hire them and stuff as well. So you don't have to go all out and spend heaps of money. But if they're interested in getting into looping, a mic, you can do so much with that.
Awesome. Thanks, Harry and Fraser. I hope that answers your question. The next one comes from Roland, who says, hi, Allara and Brent. Thank you so much for that performance. Brent, your final dance piece at the end was incredibly moving. And Roland's wondering if you could tell us more about the story behind it.
So the way I try to approach my performances, go from the love, show the culture, so then they can see what's been ripped away. So I always start with the culture, and that I have that beat, but it might change from day to day. Depends what I'm channeling, how I feel that day. Depends on maybe what traditional dance I'll do. And then from there, the gunshots, that represents, the frontier wars, the fact that, we didn't give up this country. We were fighting this. And in some places, they actually were winning. Like, they stole the guns and they were pushing them back. But then they got Aboriginal people and said, if you don't track these people, we're going to Anyway, from there, then going into deaths in custody. So I try to approach it within a storyline. So going from the first war here, from then to now, we're still being locked up. We're still being killed in prisons. Then from there, just about the mental health of Aboriginal people today in society and what it puts onto society. Just in that spoken word piece, that was only in the 80s, and they were saying about poisoning the water to eradicate, then at the end, going back to Indigenous land, beautiful brother Neil Morris, dreaming now, big shout out to him as well. And the fact that after all of that, we are still here, we are practicing culture, we are standing strong, and we're going to keep fighting and keep standing strong until...
Always.
Always.
Until always.
Until the big flood comes.
Yeah.
We've got Micheline, I think that's, sorry if I've mispronounced your name, asks, Allara, can you tell us about your relationship with the double bass? What does this instrument mean to you? Why did you choose it?
That's a beautiful question. I actually started playing electric bass when I was about 12. And then when I was about 14, my bass teacher said, "Oh, do you want to play double bass?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Little did I know how heavy it is and how much space it takes up and how expensive they are. But yeah, every day and every time I play, I just fall more and more in love with it, and I find more and more sounds in it. And I studied a Bachelor of Music at Box Hill, but I really had to kind of forget a lot of what I learnt to be able to just use it as a vessel to tell the stories, because, what I'm doing on the double bass and on the loop station isn't complicated. It's like, 2 chords or 4 chords. And so it's really about the feeling that's in the music, and it's just that expression of music is more just an extension of my being and of my soul and of my, heart. So I'm just really lucky to be in the position where I can play it and drive around with it and have it in my house and get coffee with it. And
We've got Daria, who is asking, Brent, I'm interested to hear more about your project Culture Evolves, why you also chose this name.
This is a long thing, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I can talk for days, especially about culture, all day, every day. With Culture Evolves, I've always, doing traditional, and my first hip-hop style was crump, which big shout out to all the crump community, all the people crumping. That outside of ceremony and traditional, crump is the closest thing that gives me that. Using, always practicing traditional and hip-hop, then my auntie sort of made me these cards that said Culture Evolves. And then I'm like, yeah, that's the name. So that sort of stuck just from my auntie seeing my practice. Culture Evolves, I guess, as a kid, I was been doing visual art, growing up seeing my nan do art. And then from there, as a kid as well, playing yidaki, didgeridoo. But now dance is my main passion. I feel, education as well, but dance, the fact that I can show, people can see the trauma, I can channel the ancestors, I can channel that, and people can see it visually. So that's what sort of led me to dance, because I felt that was my most powerfulest medium to have a voice and for my people to have a voice. It all started through actually education. Lucky enough to go to my gallery, Colin McKinnon Dodd, the owner, rest in peace. My journey started there, and then literally from there, I've just luckily got to meet amazing people along the way, like Sister Allara, and do a lot of different things. My main thing has been education, and all my performance, everything is sort of around that sort of basis. Just now education's my sort of main, after all this Black Lives Matter stuff, I just feel that education is sort of the best space to be in right now. That's sort of my main passion and sort of main thing I'm trying to go for, Culture Evolves at the moment.
Do you want me to add to that? Because like with the work with Seed and working to protect country and building our young people up to have the education around knowing how to do that, like free, prior and informed consent, knowing how to stand up for country and work with other mob around that. Like that's what we've always done. We've always cared for country in different ways, and now this in 2020 we're just doing it in a new modern way. Using the internet and using Facebook and all those mediums as a way to help move that forward. So we're still doing what we've always done, but we're just doing it in a new way, right?
And the fact is as well, culture is a living, breathing thing. It's in the stars, it's on the earth, it's how we exist. So the fact that, just like, me and Allara, like I said, it's evolved. We're still doing the same thing, but we've just found different ways, different mediums, new mediums to still do that same thing. But yeah, just culture evolves.
Yeah.
We've got a last question from Lynn, who says, what do you think is missing in education, not only for Aboriginal people, but for all Australian people?
Auntie Lynn.
Hey,
thanks for watching.
Hey, Anika.
Who do you want to go, or should I go?
I'll go first.
Should we
I'll just talk from my personal experience. I guess growing up, like, you have Italian, you can learn Indonesian, but where's the culture? Why can't we learn culture in schools? And that's the biggest downfall. It's only 1 day of the year or 2 days of the year. So the first thing is English, maths, every single subject, putting culture in it some way or form. But Australia has a long way to go. Every school should have a permanent Indigenous teacher. Why can they have a permanent Italian teacher but not a permanent, it doesn't make sense. And to me, that's why I hated school. In year 8, I had one of the teachers say, so we had to choose a project, and then I chose Stolen Generation. The teacher come up to me like, oh, what are you doing? I said, Stolen Generation. She's like, oh my God, that's such a good thing. I was like, this is a teacher in year 8. So with that as well, I'm trying to set up things and talking to some amazing people about actually setting up education things for teachers. Because I've been doing Aboriginal education for 7-8 years or so. I don't know. But yeah, I'm always the teachers are always going off and doing their own thing or not paying attention. It's like, yous are the one that should be paying attention most, because you should be implementing this knowledge in your everyday to day class. I got permission off Mandy Nicholson, but same as the word Womanjika, come with purpose. Imagine every school, every class, every day they opened up, instead of good morning everybody, start with language, start with Womanjika, come with purpose. And imagine that, kids at a young age, what's my purpose? How do I fit into society? It would just birth another generation, if we start doing things, but they're going to have to be radical changes, which I believe in. This system, the guy that invented schooling said, it was actually too cruel to implement. But yeah, that's another story.
Yeah, I think as well, something that would, exactly. So teaching our culture in schools, but it's a lot more complicated than just being we there's no one size fits all, because we're such diverse mobs all around the country. But I think, wherever the school is, it would be incredible to see connections with the local community, and for those people to be coming in regularly, and maybe it's elders in residence at school, so that kids can be around elders and learn how to respect our old people, and have that our cultural values implemented through all of the school classes, rather than it just being one class once a week, but even going to that next step and saying, how can we have a cultural lens through all of this? But of course we would need to work together as First Nations and non-First Nations people from the start to make sure that that's done, in the right way with proper cultural protocols. And, the last thing we need is for non-Indigenous people saying this is culture, go learn it. But it's a process, and it's a relationship, and it's always evolving, and hopefully there's going to be more healing in the next in the future and now and in the future.
And just to touch on what you said, like, you know, there's over 250 nations, there's over 900 different languages. So every program has to be tailored to wherever you are. Like, you know, there could be a skeleton, but, you know, like Allara said, you know, each school, each area connecting with that community so they have, like, you know, only that community there can tell them the stories of that land where they are. So, yeah, just connecting with community, connecting with Indigenous people, yeah.
Thank you so much to both of you. Such an incredible performance, and thank you for sharing your stories and your thoughts with us here tonight. There's obviously so much to discuss as well. Thanks to everyone who asked questions as well. They were really fantastic this evening. That is it for us tonight in the Sound Gallery, the David Lee Sound Gallery here at Monash University. We are back again next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We have Ziggy and Miles Johnson, they're internationally award-winning guitar brothers, who are going to perform a passionate and diverse repertoire crisscrossing classical guitar from Australia, Spain and Latin America, and jazz-influenced works. I hope you can tune in for that next week. I want to give another big shout-out to our incredible behind-the-scenes team here at M
We love you.
We love you, Billy Bob.
So good, aren't they? Who put these incredible socially distanced live streaming shows together. And yeah, we'll catch you again next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
We would like to thank you and everyone involved in this experience. For more on the Sound Gallery sessions, visit monash.edu/mlive.